Well, I guess I'm going to try this again. I think I got it worked at least on this. Using this one, I got it worked. I don't know what the F is going on. It's just one of them days, guys. One of them days. I think I got things working and nothing's working. So, doing the best with what I got at the moment. I don't know what's happening. I guess I got to do some figuring out here. Let me see if I can share this out and get somebody watching me. Hey, are you there? Anybody there yet? Nope, nope, you're not seeing me. Okay, well, I'm working on it. I got somebody here. Yay! Somebody's here. Sorry, guys, I don't know what the F's going on. I'm working on it, working on it, working on it, working on it, working on it. Trying to figure things out. How is everybody today? Sorry about this. What was happening was, and I don't think if you could figure, if you got it, I could not hear like if I the videos and things I play, I couldn't hear them. So if I brought a guest on, I wouldn't be able to hear them, and then it was making it that it was my mic kept cutting in and out. So I had to take care of that first. So that's what I'm kind of working on now, trying to get it back at least to a couple of groups that might be interested in joining us. I just sent Lance a new thing. I'm here, Tommy. I'm doing the best I can, my friend. I'm not sure what happened, but everything just kind of went tits up, so to say. And I'm trying to get it out as best I can. Get it to you guys as best I can, and talk about because I want to really get into this Peron thing, right? That this Peron thing is super interesting to me with the different things that we're hearing, the different reports, right? I have a saying where that I mean I it's not my saying, it's something that somebody I used to work for, and he used this a lot was first lie always wins. Okay, I get that. I mean it makes a lot of sense to me. I understand that. But however, the that's not the case here for some reason, right? And that's what I want to discuss with you guys and see where we're at and what's going on. Hey, Lance.
Hello.
Hey, man. Sorry, I don't know. So for some reason, I couldn't hear what was being said on like from my videos and that. I couldn't hear that.
Oh,
Right?
your picture's even better quality than it was.
Yeah. So something was going on. Oh my goodness, our Cardinals don't suck. Well, they're having a rough time right now. But hey, Isabel, welcome to the show. First time I think I've seen you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah. So, did you hear David Perron's interview with Carricker and whatever it is, Salt Smallman?
I heard a little bit of it.
Okay. Well, he said something in an interview, and I want to play it. If you give me a second to see if I can find it again.
Is it
Uh,
about the contract?
one, but I couldn't make things work the way they were supposed to. I'm hoping that you guys can hear this and that I'll be able to uh, play this for you. Um, and I apologize. I don't know. So for some reason my soundboard is not working the way it's supposed. So I might
Is
have
this
to
about
send
his
it in, and if it
contract?
does, I'll be down for a while until I get it back. Right,
Is this about his
and then
contract, guy?
say again.
Is this about his contract?
Yeah.
It's a lie. He's lying out of his face.
Well, I kind of think so too, but
No,
he used
here's
a. The thing is, to me, he used a qualifying word.
yeah, he did. And I will tell you one thing. Armstrong told him, okay, if he wants to get technical, he can get technical. Armstrong said, "This is what we can afford to give you," and Perron says, "Well, I'm going to go look into free agency." So did he put it down in the contract and say, "Here, sign it"? No, but he said, "This is what we can give you for 2 years," and he's taken that as not getting an offer.
Yeah. Well, here's the interview. You got it's about 5 minutes. It's not
Yep,
super long,
yep.
but let's listen. Hopefully, you guys can hear this. But if you don't, I'll have to click back.
I
But
don't
let
know
me
if
know if
I've
you're
ever
hearing
felt I had
this.
a chance to come back in the sense that, yes, I don't know if I've ever felt I had a chance to come back in the sense that, yes,
Can you hear that,
some things were
Lance?
said in the
Yep.
media and it's all great and
Say
things,
again?
but in the
Yeah.
background, I guess the best way to describe it, if you're going to tell your childhood buddy you want to have dinner with him, but you never make space for him, that's your priorities in life, and that's how it goes. Kind of felt much the same for me, and I think that's the most disappointing part. I don't know if I've ever felt that I was going to have a chance to stay. And the other thing is, a lot of people were talking it was money and all that stuff, and it never was the case. So that's the disappointing part for me, for sure.
Were you ever presented the choice to stay with the Blues?
No, not formally, no.
Yeah. See that there's more to the video. That's all that there's more to it. For me, I think that when he quits the qualifying word,
Mm-hmm.
that changes things for me, right?
Exactly. And Petrangelo kind of had the same sense and say, well, they didn't really offer me anything, and that's not true either. So,
Yeah.
I don't think Armstrong is stupid enough to go out and say, okay, we offered Jaden Schwartz this, we offered David Backus, we offered David Perron, we did the same thing with Petrangelo that we did with all these other guys. He's not going to come out and say it if it's not true. Number one, my contact with the Blues said he was told, we would like to bring you back. This is what we can do. Now, was it put on paper in front of him? No, it wasn't. Because at that time, Perron said, well, I think I want to test free agency.
I can see that. I can see that. But at the same time, that's not saying that you weren't offered something. That's the problem that I have.
That's the problem I have with him saying that, because now everybody believes in the same thing happened, if you remember, Guy, with Armstrong. That people were on Perron's side saying it was Armstrong's fault he didn't get signed, and then people were with Armstrong. I mean, all that David Perron had to say was, well, I'd rather not talk about my contract negotiations. I'm just happy to be in Detroit. I wish I could have stayed with the Blues, but it just wasn't meant to be. He didn't have to say all those other things.
Yeah. I'm just kind of. It makes me see, and I said this before, and I was talking about it when you first came on.
Yep.
I had a guy that I used to work for, and one of his favorite sayings was "First lie wins." Right?
Yep. It normally does.
I like this.
Yeah.
It's Friday night and you're at a party. You're at a party with your wife's stupid friends. What do? Bring AirPods to listen to the Hawaii Blues Fan. Oh, you gotta love our buddy Bob Morton. You gotta love our buddy Bob Morton.
That's hilarious.
The first quote unquote, the first lie told
Yep.
was we offered Perron 2 years at $4 million. Right? And that's what that's what
Well,
was put out.
Actually, that was put out, but Perron had told everybody, had told certain people that that he wasn't offered a contract before that. It didn't really fully come out until that article with whatchamacallit. So they both came out about the same
Rutherford
time.
put out. No, Jim Thomas and Rutherford both put out.
No, it was Gordon. It was Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon. Okay,
On
but I
STL
seen one that I thought Thomas put out.
Yeah, STL Today. Jeff Gordon put one out before those guys did.
Yeah, saying that he was offered 2 years at $4 million per.
And that's what I've been telling people.
Right. And Tommy says, I'm a diehard Perron fan, but Perron said it himself, not formally. We knew what they could give him. Like Lance said, he didn't want to stay bad enough.
Yep, that's true.
To take the cut, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that what it says there? I can't see.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Okay. It says Ux. He's got, but I guess it mistyped. But yeah, that's why I was having trouble. And then, yeah, he corrected himself. No, I just so but that's the thing. But so I heard the word formally, and as soon as I heard the word formally, that that was like a aha.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anytime you have to clarify something, it's one of those movements where I go, that it's under the surface, right?
Yep.
He didn't go, nope, they didn't. He said, not formally. Well, you know what? But that's not true. Okay, technically, they didn't send you a contract to sign on paper, but you didn't agree to what they told you either.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying if you ask a guy, did you run out on your wife and not get married? No, I just didn't show up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you didn't show up and you didn't get married.
Yeah, it's saying that. Hey, guy, hope all is good. Have a great weekend. Can't believe they traded. Well, that's what we're talking about, David. They didn't trade. Well, first of all, they didn't trade Perron, right? Perron left on his own prerogative. Now, here's the thing. With Perron's statement, not formally offered a contract. Well, okay, hey, David, a lot of these contract talks, I think, go down like this. Hey, we'd like to talk to you. What are you looking at? Okay, they negotiate, and then a formal contract is sent.
Yep.
Hey, David, we're offering you 2 years at $4 million. You know what, Doug? That's kind of not what I want right now. Well, this is what I want. Okay, to say not formally is to say that nothing was put on paper. To say you weren't offered a contract is horseshit.
Yeah, because like I told you, I reported this before everybody else did. He sat down with him, and Doug said, and this is the way Doug Armstrong does business. He doesn't put in formal offers immediately. He tells the player and the agent, okay, guys, this is what we're looking at. What our salary cap is, like this year, and this is what we can afford to give you for 2 years. If you don't call that an offer, I don't know what you call it. Now, was it on paper? No. Were they ready to sign it? No. But when you tell a player what you can afford to give him, the negotiations have started, and basically they have offered you something.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But what's getting me is that everybody's jumping on this bandwagon of he didn't offer him anything.
Yeah. Well, do you remember years ago when
they didn't get an offer?
Yeah. Do you remember years ago when Rutherford, when Backus left, or when Petrangelo left, he kept saying that Doug hadn't talked to Petro for a week, and he was basically he was going on the edge of sticking up for Petrangelo instead of the team, and he backed it off a little bit. And what he said there was a total lie. Petrangelo was totally lying. Petrangelo told his friends and teammates a week before he didn't think he was going to sign with the Blues because he wanted to change.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm.
Are we 5 years old? I mean, be honest with people.
Yeah, no, it's just I have problems with Blues fans that jump on. It's not just Blues fans; it's society today, right? If it fits our narrative, that's what's true. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes things don't fit your narrative, guys, and that doesn't make them true.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm trying, I've been getting in all these arguments, and then, that's what Perron said. Well, and then the guy goes, he's not formally. Well, not formally. See, that's the key here.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean he wasn't offered a contract.
Yeah. Most people will just that word formally. They've already made up their mind and they're closed-minded, and they don't even hear that word formally. When you and I hear it, it's like, you didn't have to add that, but you did. And there's a reason why you added that.
And this thing about, him saying, it's like your best friend says we're going to give, let's go to dinner and never gets there. I don't think that was the case. I don't think that was the case. I think it was, I really do. I think he had $4 million, and that's all he had.
He did. He did.
He wasn't going to negotiate off of that.
No,
he
couldn't.
gave his top offer right off the bat.
Well, Guy, if you remember the other day before the free agency started, we talked about how much money the Blues would have and how much they might be able to pay Perron, and it was, you and I said, between $3.5 and $4 million.
Yeah.
And Perron should have known that. His agent, they should know that kind of stuff. And I do call out Doug Armstrong sometime, but I'm not calling him out over the Pietrangelo thing because I know Pietrangelo lied, and I'm not calling him out over this one because I know for a fact Doug did tell the agent, we can offer you this for 2 years. And it's kind of like if a bank comes to you and says, I can finance that car for you for 2.9%, and you go back and tell your friends, oh, that bank said they wouldn't finance me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it wasn't on paper, but they told you they could.
They formally didn't finance me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I don't think that I'm struggling with how this is going down right now.
Me too.
And I'm struggling with Blues fans' infatuation with Perron. Look, I get David Perron signed with the Blues 3 times. I get that, okay? The only contracts that he ever signed were with the Blues. Get that up until now. Right?
Which hey, I don't care about that. As a fan, as a podcaster, it's the same thing as players coming here that's got the same last name of former players that played for the Blues. I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I'm trying to get a hold of somebody here real quick. I want to talk about the other thing that I want to talk about. This guy we signed today to a minor league contract with no vowels, right? Do you know what he did in the minor leagues?
No, I never heard of him.
He shot 109 mile an hour slap shot.
Yeah.
Right, and I got the video. Unfortunately, I can't show it because of this doopy shit that I'm trying to deal with. But yeah, 109 mile an hour, 109 mile an hour slap shot.
Has he ever done it before on the clock? Have they ever clocked him before?
I don't know.
Then I don't believe it. It's like Al McGinnis. I saw Al McGinnis shoot 104, 105, whatever he shot, several times, a bunch of times. And until you show me, and several times, I mean, that's a pretty damn hard shot.
Yeah, no, I'll show you. I wish I could show you the video. I'm going to see if I can pull it up or send it to myself or tag myself or something so we can bring it up. Oh man, I'm trying to do like 9 different things and I'm failing at it. Right? Trying to do, but for me, I don't think this guy comes up for the Blues. I really don't. Right? I think that this was just one of those, why is this working so bad for me today?
You got to love Martin Firk.
Yeah, that's it. Right?
But you watch. Blues fans will say he's going to make the roster this year. He's going to challenge for a spot. I mean, they're already saying I can't think of his name. Starts with a B. The guy they drafted.
Bozak.
Bulldog.
Bullock. Yeah, Bullock.
People are already saying, "Oh, he's going to challenge for a spot. He'll make the roster." And Neighbors is definitely making the roster. Well, here's the thing, guys. They've already got 23 guys signed on their roster for this year. So somebody's going to have to go down. And
one person is going down automatically.
Yeah, one person will automatically go down. But, Guy, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but if I'm Doug Armstrong, I'm not bringing up Neighbors for this season. I'm bringing him up next season. Put him in the AHL.
Yeah, I'm with you. Right?
All these people, I don't know if you've seen my tweets on YouTube today, they're all saying he's a solid in. He's already made the team, basically.
I don't see that. He's only 19.
He just turned 20.
Oh, he's still, which one? Neighbors?
Neighbors.
Yeah, Neighbors is, but Bolduc is still.
Yeah, he's only 19 too. Yeah, and I mean, I love Blues fans because they're passionate, but man, I just wish some of them would get a little bit of education and understand the game and understand when you can bring a young guy up and when you should bring him up. Just because he looks good in juniors and because he comes up for 9 games in the NHL doesn't mean he's ready for a full season in the NHL.
Oh, Chris Shockey's here, and that's who I was looking for. I was trying to make sure that Chris knew what was going on because I had to go back. No, where are we at? If Perron would have taken that $4 million, do you think they still sign Letty?
Nope.
No, I don't.
Nope.
Right? That was the thing. There was no $8 million there. That $8 million wasn't there, and that's what's up. Oh, Ian's here. Hey, Ian, how you doing, bud? Hope you're having a good one. Are you on? Are you on or off? We'd love to have you if you want to come on. At the very least, have neighbors start with the T-Birds, and then if he's tearing up, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Bull Duke is 19, so he can't even go to the AHL yet.
No.
So you might give him. I think he's the guy you give the 9 games. You give him a 9 if he has a good camp, give him the 9-game tryout, and then you send him back to his juniors. Right?
Well,
don't waste his year.
Whose spot is he going to take?
Torpachinko's.
Guy, they already got 23 guys on there. Torpachinko's on the LTIR. He doesn't count as a roster spot.
As of yesterday, there's nobody on LTIR.
Well, he's going to be.
He's going to be, but he isn't.
Yeah.
So.
No, what I'm saying is, once they put him on LTIR at the beginning of the season,
Okay, yeah. So they're at 23. So when they put in, and he's not on LTIR yet, right? So when he goes on LTIR, that opens up 1 spot. They also have this Josh Levo, right? The 29-year-old that they signed on the roster. He's going down. I almost guarantee you that this guy's not making the roster.
He's going down.
Right. So to me, that and then they've got to send somebody down anyways because you still got Mikkola's still Mikkola's you don't have Mikkola yet. He's still in RFA, so you've got to put Mikkola on. So someone has to drop down. Right? Somebody has to drop down. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. Right? Somebody's dropping down to the minors that's going to come off the thing. I'm guessing it's going to be either this Josh Levo or
I don't hate neighbors. I like neighbors, but if I'm a coach and a GM and I've got a 20-year-old who's played 9 games in the NHL and he's only played juniors and he's never played at the NHL level or the AHL level, he's got to play there somewhat, even if he plays a half a season there, because to go from junior to AHL is huge. To go from junior to the NHL is harder than hell. Did you freeze, Guy? Well, I think Guy is frozen, so I guess we can talk about this Neighbors thing. If there's, you guys watching, what do you think about Jake Neighbors? I think he's a great player. I think he's going to be a very good player. But, people that haven't played the game, they don't understand the difference between, first of all, the junior and then the AHL and then the NHL. Each step up is light years apart. The game's a little bit faster. The players are a little bit better. And that's just the way that it is. You want a guy to get more playing experience against better competition. Because when you're in the juniors, not every guy you play against is going to be even an AHL player. So you've got to take that step from the juniors to the NHL, or to the AHL, sorry, and you've got to season yourself to get used to the AHL game. Is he going to do very good in the AHL? I would imagine so. Could he be up with the Blues towards the middle end of the season? I would imagine he probably could, if he really lights it up. But if I'm Doug Armstrong, I keep him in the AHL.
Yeah, okay, I'm back.
That's
guess,
all right. I talked a little bit.
Yeah. Ian, I sent you a link there, bud. Love to get our buddy Ian, Minnesota Wild fan, on.
Yeah.
Look, I get where everybody's at, but look, we've got a good roster, right? Even without Perron, we still have a good roster. And one of the things that I said all along, right? The area that we have the most need for approval right now, in my eyes, is defense. And I can't believe I just said that, because I used to fight it so bad, right? I fought it so bad. But no, that's where we're at. We need this defense. And I think defense was what needed to be. And Letty does help shore up that defense. The one thing that this team needs to do, is stop allowing 3 goals or winning games where they score 3 goals or less. Right? That's huge. You've got to be able to win those 1-0 games. Those games where the other goalie is just being stingy as hell. Right? I mean, if you do that, you're gonna have better chances than none of winning. And that's the issue for the Blues last year. Right? It was absolutely this thing where they could not score or win games when they didn't score 3 or more goals.
Yeah, the Blues were feast or famine last year. You know, they were if they scored 4, 5, 6 goals, they won the game. If they scored 3 or less, they didn't win.
Yeah, no, they didn't. And
there was games they couldn't score 2 and they lost 2-0, 2-1. I mean, you know, if your goalie allows 2 goals in the NHL, he's giving you a pretty dang good chance to win.
Yeah, give me. I'm trying to pull my article up where I put those. Where I put those numbers at. I want to go. I want to read those numbers and so the article on Inside the Rink was the Blues. They are what we thought they were, and again going back to the late Denny Green. Let's see here if I can find this record. Okay. This is so the Blues set a franchise record while scoring 4 more goals in 12 straight games, going 11-0-1. St. Louis scored 4 goals or more 46 times during the regular season. 45-1. 45-1. That was scoring 4 goals or more. In games where they scored 3 goals or fewer. Are you ready for this, Lance?
Oh, probably 0-something or 1-something.
9-17-10.
Oh my God.
9-17-10, scoring 3 goals or less. That right there is a huge, I mean, it leaps off the page at you. That's got to get fixed. We have to be more concerned with our defense, because when the offense doesn't work, we can't win. We have to be able to win when the offense isn't clicking. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Lowe says, I think Neighbors is going to be a good 2-way forward. I don't know if the offense will translate. I think it will. I think he'll be okay. Question for Guy and Lance.
He's not good defensively.
Yeah, not yet. But the question for Guy and Lance, does Tarasenko have a career point production year this season now that he's finally been healthy for a while? I think so. I think he has the potential of being a 100-point player, even at 31 years old. Right? And Tommy's still mad at Parayko. Sorry, Tommy. Not much I can do about that. I just, there's a couple of different things going on here that are crazy in different ways. This team got offensive from a defensive standpoint, and that's something that really surprised me, right? In 19, and this is, you have to look at 19 a lot, because 19's when Berube really, his coaching style connects, right? You agree with me there?
Yep.
Okay. So in 19, he used the offense in a way to create defense, keep the puck in the other zone. And he said it, I'm not worried about how many shots they take. I just want him to hold the puck. Right? He said that numerous times. Remember that? You remember you got all upset at it.
Well, yeah. There's 2 ways to look at that. Yeah, that's great. You don't put the puck in the other team's hands and give them scoring opportunities. But there's another way to look at it too. If you're concerned about holding the puck and not getting scoring chances, and you're just skating around the ice holding the puck, I understand doing it with a minute left or whatever, but you've got to still try to score no matter what. If you're in the offensive zone, you've got to put pucks on the net. You don't need to be skating around for 45 seconds thinking, oh, well, let's stay in here so that they don't go down there. You cannot think that way.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Hey, Ian, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
I was thinking, man, Ian's never going to come on my show again, right? He's so mad at me. He's so upset with me that he will never come on my show again.
Oh no! Are you talking about what are you talking about?
The Cam Talbot?
Oh no, I wasn't mad. What's funny is how Russo talked about how the entire time it was like we don't have to trade him. We don't have to trade him if we don't want to. And then something like the day before the trade happened, something flipped where he just decided to switch him out. I don't know. It was just a crazy turn of events. It was actually kind of funny.
Well, did you see Guerin's response when he says, "I don't care, goddammit, what Cam Talbot says. He's under contract and he's our goalie this year."
Yeah, but he was referring to the agent because that's what the agent wanted. But it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a good move. It frees up the space that the Wild need to be able to call up guys like keep Addison and Rossi up during the regular season. I mean, the Wild are so cap strapped right now. I mean, that extra $2.6 million in the cap space really does help. But that was a very interesting move. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
that somebody on this show said was going to happen and got told no, it wouldn't.
Hey, I mean, I tweeted at you. I can admit when I'm wrong. Second it happened, I was like, yeah, I better tweet this out.
I'll tell you this though: if Talbot hadn't complained, he'd still be there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he would.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think he'd still be there.
I mean, and I don't know. I guess he wants the number one job, but I mean, I don't know what else he lost his job. He lost it because.
But he shouldn't have. That's the thing. He shouldn't have. He did. No. Say he did not play. No, when they made the trade for Marc-Andre Fleury, he didn't play. That there was no need to make that trade. And I said that. At that point. You're causing discontent in the locker room that you don't need, and it's not going to help.
Well, listen, guy. Well, he was mediocre during that right before the trade. And then when the trade happened, he goes, "Oh, now I better play better." You know what I mean? It's like, so why didn't you just play better before? How come
you were in second? You were in second before the trade happened. He wasn't playing mediocre.
He wasn't good. About a week or two before,
we were outscoring teams. Our goaltending was kind of meh last year. We were just outscoring teams. That's why we were able to win a lot of those games.
Well, I mean, that's what with the Blues. I mean, I was just talking to Lance earlier. The Blues were 9-17-10, scoring 3 goals and less.
Yep.
Right, and that right there. You want to win a cup? Fix that. You fix that without screwing up your when you can score 4 goals. You're going to win a cup.
Well, I mean, and Guy, you guys are ahead of us because at least you guys managed to get some good special teams. Like, it just really, I don't know how we're going to fix these special teams. I know that Guerin says that the coaches have drawn up, and that's what they're going to work on this offseason is our special teams to play because it was just so atrocious last season. But I don't know how you can go from bottom 20 and like mid-teens to top 10 over a year, especially after losing 85 points of a Fiala. It's just going to be really interesting to see what we do. I think we take a step back. I mean, and I'm not sure if it's fall out of the playoffs bad, but we'll see how it goes.
No, you don't. Well, actually, I say this. The Blues did it. The Blues went in penalty kill. They went from like 24th in penalty kill to 5th.
Well, that's one of the things I look at the Blues series and I go, that's one of the things that's just like the entire series. It was lopsided, We just couldn't get anything going on special teams.
And I said that. I said special teams was going to be the factor in that.
And we agreed on that. I think we agreed. I mean, it's just too big. And I think.
Well, I want to talk about the other big thing you guys have going and what you think in this. Kirill Kaprizov. I think I said that right. Kaprizov is not in the country and can't get in.
Yeah, well, so I've been trying to find information on this. That's like so I've just been going by what Russo has reported because for the most part, Russo doesn't report something unless he's at least heard some sort of shred of information. He doesn't just throw crap at the wall and see if it sticks. So what he's said about
I don't know about that.
What he said about it is that supposedly the Russian government is accusing Kirill Kaprizov of purchasing a fake military ID. Okay.
Yep.
Along with what was the Fedotov? Is that his name? The goalie.
Yeah, the one goalie. Yep.
But apparently, it's a problem with that agent or something like that, where they're letting them. Now it's alleged; it's not for sure or not. But the problem is that we don't know if Kirill is going to get in trouble for that if he did actually do it, or if he's going to have to stay a year over in Russia because he did play for CSKA Moscow for multiple seasons, I believe 3 or 4. Which is usually counts for military service, right?
Yep.
But then the other day I heard that they haven't been owned by the military for 5 years or something like that. So it's all up in the air. It's really it's crazy. Everybody's trying to get their information. Nobody really knows what's going on. And until we know what's going on, like we're not going to know anything until something happens, you know.
Yeah. Tommy, you ask, what will be the next big free agency move, trade, signing for the Blues? Well, the next one that's going to happen, I think, more than likely, is going to be Mikkola signing his signing an offer, right? It will be signing a Mikkola. They have about 1.5 million, give or take, with him, almost 1.75, depending on who they send down, right? I don't think they pay him all of that. I think they pay him 1.5, somewhere around there. Martin Frick, I think that's how you say it. F-R-K is how his name's spelled. No vowels.
I think it's Firk, Martin Firk.
It's Firk.
Yeah,
Firk.
Firk. Right? This guy, Firk, when he was with the Reign, and I'm not sure where the Reign play from. They're the Kings minor league team. 109 mile an hour slap shot.
Well, wasn't if I remember right, wasn't Firk a kind of at least a couple of years ago, he was actually kind of a quality bottom six forward for the Kings, was it? Maybe it was the Kings. I don't remember, but I remember him being okay with the Kings for a while.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there with him being okay with the Kings for a bit.
I know I thought it was more than 5 years ago or something, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean.
Okay, hold on a second, and hopefully this will work. Stand by, guys.
I have a couple cushions.
I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work, so we'll see. Okay, here it is, I think. I don't know if you guys can hear this. You got to let me know.
Adrenaline pumping. No cuffs on the gloves.
Whoa! Are you kidding me?
Oh, my gracious. Holy Hanzus.
Replace the net. 109.2.
Who's Shea Weber anyway? 109.2.
Martin Frick doesn't need any vowels. He's got the hardest shots.
No wonder my arms were bruised for 2 months after the Calder Cup finals with the one-timers he was taking. Holy cow. 109.
That is one for the ages in the beginning of a new decade.
Take a lap, Martin Frick. Wow.
This is in 2020.
What they want. Can we get an encore to see if he'll break 110?
He's not a good player.
I know.
I mean, you can't.
The torque. The 1.5-inch curve.
You know, you got to give it to him for the 109 mile an hour slap shot. That's for sure.
He can definitely bang it.
Hey, Ian, it's like I told Guy. Show me once, I question it. Show me him doing it 3, 4, 5 times, then I'll believe he actually can do it.
But I actually, you guys didn't retain Perron, which I mean, I don't think you're probably going to be able to retain him anyway. But how do you guys think that's going to? Do you think that's going to be pretty big loss? Because I know he was pretty lethal for you guys in that power play.
Well, actually, we talked about this last night. I actually don't think so. I think you can make up his production with guys you already have getting full seasons. Right? Walker getting a full season. Brown getting a full season. Who's the other guy I said getting a full season?
And one thing we didn't talk about, Guy, O'Reilly's going to have a better season than he had last year.
Yeah,
'cause
I
he
think
was down
O'Reilly
in
will
goals.
too.
Yeah.
Right. I think that the production you can get that. It's not like the guy didn't score 40 goals. Okay, he scored 27.
Yeah.
Right. And he only had I think it was 54 points or something like that. Right. It was or 60 something points. It wasn't. He's not a 100-point guy. To me, you can get those 26 goals, and not only that, you had 9 20-goal scorers.
Yeah.
You lost one 20-goal scorer. You lost one. You have guys that could get and then you had a couple one that was close. I think somebody, Barbashev had 19 or something like that. Somebody had 19. Somebody was still pretty close. So to me, the numbers are replaceable. His leadership may not be, but on this team, you may not need that.
Yeah, the whole leadership thing is overdone by the fans. It's good to have a leader or two in the locker room, but you don't need 5, 6, 7 leaders. Every time I see the Blues talking about getting in a trade or signing, and he's a leader in the locker room. Damn, guys, we don't need 23 leaders in the locker room.
Sometimes there can be too many cooks in the kitchen.
That's right.
Not everybody can lead everybody.
Yeah, and hey, Ian, I want to let you know that no matter what you hear, the Blues did offer Perron a contract. That's in the media that he came out and said he wasn't offered it formally. But he was off. Armstrong told him, we can give you 2 years at $4 million each year. That's all we can do. And then Perron said, well, I'm going to test free agency.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think I think you guys were probably pretty like you guys knew you were going to lose him because
most likely.
Previously you were talking about if he doesn't seem like the I think it might have been it might have been Lance. So I think somebody said that he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to take a pay cut. But I mean,
he wouldn't.
I felt that way as well. But I don't know. Very interesting.
I think he was going to take a little bit of a hometown discount, but I think that he wanted to negotiate, and Armstrong offered him exactly what he had right off the bat.
Yeah, he should have started way low.
And that's now. I did have someone on the show say that he got offered a lowball deal. I don't think 2 years at $4 million is a lowball deal. So Justin Falk had 16 goals. Thomas had 20. O'Reilly 21. Shin 24. Saad 24. Barbashev 26. Perron 27 with 57 points. Kyrou 27. Bushnevich 30. Tereshchenko 34. Right?
Yeah, and I'm with you, Guy. If Tarasenko's healthy and everything goes perfect for him, he could have even a better season. I know some people think that's impossible, but he could have just as good, if not a better season.
Wow. So I wanted to look at who else we have in free agency. I know Kessel's still there. Let's give it Niederreiter. Yeah. Okay.
Stastny.
Okay, hold on. We can look at free agency. I don't see the Blues doing anything else in free agency. They only got maybe $2 million, and it's got to go to Mikkola.
Mikkola,
I agree. And the thing is, the Wild really can't do anything in free agency. That's just what. It's a big bummer. I mean,
you guys are going to have to
sign much, did you?
No,
and they're going to have to. Yeah, you guys are going to have to really rely on young players this year.
Yeah, well, and I think that's kind of what the plan has been. Is kind of bringing in young talent, which is what it seems like that's Billy's long-term plan. I mean, that's why he gave Fleury that 2-year deal. I mean, probably a bridge deal maybe for Jesper Wallstedt to come up eventually. Whether that's in a backup role, maybe 2 seasons from now or what have you. But yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I guess he's playing the long game, and then hopefully once the salary cap kicks up, that's when it's gonna go burn the bar doors off and stuff.
Well, smart GMs are already spending that money. That's the thing. They're projecting down. Now I've heard this on Blues websites or Facebook groups and things like that. The money that we gave Thomas, is hurting us. It's not. That Thomas deal, adjusted for inflation, is the same as the Tereshchenko deal that Tereshchenko got when he was 22 and that Pietrangelo got when he was 22. It's the same deal.
just wait for when the salary cap kicks up, and it's going to be even smaller percentage than it is right now. It's going to be just fine. I mean, I feel like that's a good It's what 8.1,
8.1, yep.
8.1 million. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean that's a solid contract. How many points do you have? I think it's probably was it in the 80s? It must have been.
No, he was in the low 70s.
Either way, and he's a great player, and I feel like you guys, the way you're
Thomas had 57 points. Or no, 77 points.
You guys roll lines though. That's the thing, is that it's not like, and then that's why everybody scores so much, that you guys kind of equally deploy lines. It's really interesting how you guys' system is actually. I was thinking about this the other day, but I also wanted to talk about something, and I feel like this is actually kind of interesting to touch on. Is that how there has been so many free agency signings in the East, so many trades from West to East. It feels like the West is getting worse, which may be good for the Wild or teams like the Blues. It's like addition by subtraction, where the teams are getting worse, so it in turn makes the Wild better. Is you guys picking up on what I'm putting down here?
Yeah, no, you're right. There was the West was, believe it or not, the West was the better conference last season, right? Even though I know, I'll get arguments. Top to bottom, the West was the better conference. Even though we didn't have all our teams get 100 points to get in, it was still overall a better competitive conference, right? The East on the bottom was just bad.
Well,
bad.
What this playoff matchups were set by January, February? Everybody knew who was already going to make the playoffs.
The only one that we didn't know was the Blues in Minnesota, whether they would switch until probably March.
Well, not in the West. The West still had a lot to do. The West,
the
East was set.
Anyway.
Right. The only matchup that got set in the West early was the Blues matchup. That was the first matchup set. Everything else kind of shifted around.
Yeah.
But I do see where you're at. We were talking about this yesterday a little bit. Like I asked who is the worst team, who is your bottom two in the Central, and everyone went Chicago, Phoenix, except me. I went Chicago and Dallas. I thought Dallas slipped.
I don't know. I don't think Dallas will. I feel like the bottom three are Chicago, Dallas, and Arizona, but I can kind of put them in. And I feel like Dallas is the best out of those three, though, just because, sure, they're getting older, right? But they're still not to the point where I could see them jumping off a cliff next season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think more people. I think people are thinking Arizona's stadium is a negative, and I think it's going to be a positive. I really do. I think it's going to be a positive, and you hear this all the time. It doesn't matter who's in the crowd. It doesn't matter this. The size of the stadium doesn't matter. Da 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 da. You know what? How many times have you heard players? And Tarasenko says this almost every interview, and you hear Blues players say it during their interviews, talking about the fans. We heard you. We hear you. Right? Arizona is going to be playing in front of a full stadium for the first time in a long, long time. Bear in mind, it's only 5,000, but it's still 5,000 people in a full stadium is a hell of a lot louder than 8,000 in a 17,000 stadium.
It is if your team's doing good things. If your team's not doing good things, it can be really quiet.
Yeah, you're right. But I think early on, well, I guess they're going to start a lot of their games on the road too. That's going to hurt. I mean, it's kind of an Islander situation. The Islanders had a bunch of games on the road, and by the time they got home, they were already in a hole.
Yeah. Why don't we ask Ian who his top three and bottom three in the Central like we did last night?
So who are your bottom teams?
I think I said them. So my bottom three, it's gotta be Arizona, Dallas, and Chicago. I mean, Chicago, they're tearing everything down. I mean, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. They're going the old fail for Bedard or something, whatever. We gotta come up with a slogan for that, because they want Bedard or Michkov. That's what they're doing. They're trying to tank for that number one pick. That's their goal. And it's funny because after that it gets a little weird, because I still feel like Avalanche are one of, or if not excuse me, if not the top team in the division. And then it's a mix between, I think Winnipeg is going to be better than they were last year. I just feel like the way underachieved, and I can't see them. It just doesn't make any sense, that kind of firepower they have, and I feel like they just should be better than that, And then it's Blues Wild in some order. I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like those four. Who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
Dallas and Nashville.
And Nashville's weird as well because I could never place that team. I had them missing the playoffs this year, but they didn't miss the playoffs this year. It's just that's one of the teams I have a hard time reading because it doesn't look like they should be that good. But then last year, I had guys like Tanner Ginott and Carrier step in, and go so good for them. It's just it's weird how they're able to kind of bring build up those pieces that you don't think can be good, but they're good. It was like Yarncrow, like we're a few years back, how he came out of nowhere during that. I think that during that final run, it's just they just bring these guys up that they pull out of nowhere that become solid NHL players. It's really interesting, but I don't know. I think it's got to be. I'm gonna say Avs, then it's gonna be Blues, maybe Jets, Wild. I think that's probably how it's gonna go, and then Nashville's a wild card, so I'll put them behind the Wild. But I feel like it could go. I feel like the bottom three are set, but the top five can pretty much go in any orders, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask you, do you think that be honest, I think St. Louis right now it's their division to lose.
Well, let's see. So this depends on what the Avalanche can do if they are able to bring back Kadri. I feel like the longer this free agency goes out without him getting a contract from another team, the more likely he is to re-sign. If that may sound crazy and
they don't have the money.
It just feels that's what it feels like. I know, but it's weird. I feel like you're right. They only have $3 million now.
Yeah, they don't have the money. They passed.
Who do they re-sign?
Huh?
Who do they? Hold on, I'm just trying to see. They gave Nichushkin a deal. I forgot. That's why. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So
gave Nichushkin a big deal. They re-signed Lehkonen. They re-signed Manson.
That helps your cause, I guess. I mean, I still think it's close. I think it's 1-2 between the Blues and the Avs. Really.
I think they got worse in the goaltender department.
Yeah. I think it's definitely a downgrade. Pavel Francouz is actually a really underrated backup. He seems like he's a pretty high-end backup, in fact. So I like that role, but Georgiev has never really been given that number one role, so it's really going to be weird.
And I don't think he'll get that number one role here. I think Francoeur is going to get it over him, and that's why I think even if you do give it to him, both of those goalies are goalies that need defense in front of them. And in all actuality, the Avalanche don't play defense. Their defense is their offense. They go out and score 12 goals. They're like the Blues. They score so many goals that the other team can't come back.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm just looking to see so teams that got better, and just off the top of my head, Carolina Hurricanes obviously got better.
Yep.
Blue Jackets, of course, the big score of the free agency period, they got better. I feel like. I think Detroit got better. I really do. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. And then obviously Ottawa got better. Like I said, there's lots of teams in the East that got better, and then in the West, like Wild got worse. St. Louis, you guys. The thing is that you guys didn't add. You just it's not like you got so bad, like way worse. But you did get worse. I don't think you got better in the offseason. They really don't.
I disagree with that.
You can argue with that, but I gotta hear. Just hold on. You can argue with me in a minute. Okay. But then, I mean, obviously Chicago got way worse. They tore everything down. I feel like maybe LA got better. San Jose got worse. Yeah, just everybody. It just seems like there's more teams in the West that got worse than they got better. I think it's gonna be a lot.
I can see that. Right. Tommy says the Avs are too good. Right. They're not as good as you think, Tommy. They really are not. They got rid of they lost a lot of controversy. Oh, that's right. And then Sanford signed with his fourth team in a year. In a year, he's been on 4 teams. Right? I think that's the one fans got right. That's the one Blues fans got right. They wanted him gone during the shortened 21 season. They wanted Stanford gone so bad, and that's the one that they got right. He has not found a home anywhere, and his his liability on defense is not made up for by his offense at all. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the argument that the Blues didn't get better. I'm gonna come back. First of all, I think the Blues did some things that did make them better.
Okay.
The first thing they did that made them better. Are you ready for this?
Are you going to say losing Perron?
No.
Okay,
they signed Thomas to a long-term deal.
Yeah. Well, I could see what you're going. I think I can see that. But I mean, I thought you were going to go along the lens of maybe subtracting Perron, giving more time to guys like Perunovic and Trepachenko.
That's one of the things that it does. It does give Perunovic's defense, so that doesn't affect him, but it does affect
Torpachenko.
It affects Brown. It affects and it would affect Torpachenko if he wasn't injured. It affects Walker. It affects why am I going blank now? Help me, Lance. I think I lost Lance. Oh man, I went absolutely blank. Torpachenko, Brown, Walker, Barbashev, those guys are now going to get better playing time. And you give them better playing time, you're going to see a little bit more. And then now you're going to give some guys down there on the farm a chance to come up, right? Neighbors could see some time. Now, Neighbors, I think, needs a full year down, but he could. Costin is the one that absolutely needs to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Costin's the one that needs to figure it out. Costin's the guy that's got to come up, and when he gets his minutes, make him count.
And Guy, I got to tell you, I know that's the lens you're going in with the Perron subtraction, but I really think that you're undervaluing the loss of Perron. I know he only had like 20-something goals last season, but it's really the one thing. Let me put this in perspective. The one thing that the Wild really they haven't had the last few years is that right shot. We don't have very many right shot forwards for whatever reason. It's just really strange how we only have left shot forwards. But just when you don't have forwards that can shoot on the right, and you don't have to worry about that cross crease one timer, I think that's part of the reason why our power play was so terrible. Is that all he had to do is cover Kaprizov and Zuccarello because that they're going to pass back and forth, and nothing was going to happen because no one was going to take the shot. But Perron just brought so much value on the power play, and I feel like that's a bigger loss than you guys are estimating. And it's just a question of if those young guys given those extra minutes, is that going to make up for Perron? I don't think it is, but that's just me.
Okay, I have a case in point here, right? When we traded Sundqvist, Sundqvist is a beast on penalty kill, right? He is one of the best penalty killing forwards out there, plain and simple. I don't think you'll get an argument from anybody on that. He is one of the best. When we gave up him, I said, man, here's our penalty kill is going to get worse, and it got better. It got better because other guys got opportunities that they weren't getting.
Yeah, and that's
right.
That's what I said.
And now here's the other thing. Leddy. When Leddy came in, Leddy helped solidify the defense a little bit and gave some offense. With Leddy getting more time, he might help that defense out. And if our defense gets just a little bit better, right? If you can, it's that 9, 17, and 10, and I'm going to keep bringing that up. If you can change that number, if you can flip that number, if you can change that number, you could make that number 500. You win the division. Think about this now. By the way, Lance, I wanted to. You put something out on about baseball on this, and I wanted to. I think I understood where you were going, but you weren't right. Games above and below 500 is how many it takes you to get to 500. So they were 9, 17, and 10. So they were. Let me get my number right. 8 games below 500 in games scoring 3 goals or less. So you take 4 wins. You add 4 wins to You take I think it's what, 4. Take 4 off it, and you have an even number. Does that make sense? Right. So if you can get 8, that's 8 points, right there. 8 points if you just shore up your game when you're scoring 3 goals or less. 8 points. You're now 2 points behind the Avalanche. That's all it took. 4 games. 4 games. Just be 500 there.
That's why that's what's so tough about the Wild, as I look at the intermission, not just against the Blues, because those were 3 games I feel like we left points on the board as well, but just the games against like Nashville, where we only won one of those meetings. Just imagine how if we maybe won one extra Blues game, one extra Nashville game, we're only a couple of points behind the Avalanche at that point. It's just really it's funny how close it gets to be, because the Avalanche. I feel like the Avalanche took their foot off the gas though. I think they kind of did it on purpose, which I feel like if they left everybody healthy, maybe they might not have won the cup because not everybody is rested. But I feel like they still would have completely ran away with the division. Probably would have gotten to maybe the mid 120s or something of that sort.
Yeah,
I think it would have been possible. But
if you win 4 of those games, you would have been 13, 13, and 10, right? And yeah, 13, 13, and 10, and that would have. That's 8 more points, and it's solidified. And if you could have won games scoring 3 goals or less, you might have beat the Wild in 4 or in 5 and not 6, and you could have taken Colorado further.
And that was just what's so disappointing about this first round series for the Wild, is that it just felt like it was within reach, but then the problems that we had all season was what sunk us in the playoffs. And it's weird to say that because usually teams will try to adjust for that, maybe try to do something different. But it feels like we try to make adjustments too late. That's why I can't pounding on the table. We need to improve our special teams. And I'm not sure whether it's by different scheming or if we need to bring somebody else in or what, because we really don't have the money to bring somebody else in. Maybe it's somebody who comes up gets us that over that hump in that sense. But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. This offseason has not disappointed so far. Teams like the Senators going out and making moves, trying to get better. It's like it is about as exciting as it gets, And that draft.
I agree. Guys, are you okay, bud? You okay?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah, I'm fine now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
I was worried about you there for a second. You disappeared on us.
That's all right. I'm here now.
Okay. No, Ian, you make some good points, right? The Ottawa is all in, and I know I heard Claude say, we won't win the cup next year, but we're a year or 2 away. I think that they could be one of them last to first teams, worst to first teams.
It's just so interesting that's how you do it. If you're Ottawa, if you look at where they built through the draft up the middle and on defense, okay, and then they're just supplementing around that because they got up the middle, they got Pinto, Batherson, Norris, and those are 3 young centers who are all highly touted and they are all pretty darn good in their own right. And it's just, and then of course, you have the lottery luck sometimes. Like they got Stützle at 3, which was it's a good pick, I think I still would have picked Lucas Raymond at that spot, but we'll see.
Well, you got Schulte, you've got Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, Brady Tkachuk, great player.
Yeah, their top 6 are going to be amazing. They just need to try and get their bottom 6 a little bit stronger.
Well, I feel like they still need to add a top 4 D-man. And that's why I know a lot of Ottawa fans were quick to say, oh, this 1-for-1 goalie swap with Minnesota is a complete steal for Ottawa. Ottawa got the better player. Whether Gustafsson becomes better or not, it doesn't really matter. But unless you shore up that defense, look at Minnesota has one of the better defenses in the league. And under one of the better defenses, Talbot was average. So if you don't shore up your defense, if he was average on a good defensive team, how is he going to be on your team if you're top? So you either better hope that your young D-men are able to take big steps forward, or you got to add a top 4 D-man. And until they do that, I'm not convinced that Talbot's gonna have an amazing season next year. I mean, he could prove me wrong. We'll see how it goes, but I don't have any ill will with Talbot either. I'm just trying to look at this objectively.
Oh, I know, and I just, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, or pat myself on the back too hard. I just that sometimes you gotta really pay attention under the surface, and under the surface of that tweet that his wife put out, there was a lot of pain there, and that's why I knew that he was gone.
Yeah, and like Billy Guerin has said all year, there's no room for that petty bullshit.
Yeah, well, the petty bullshit was on him.
I mean, on Guerin?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're there to play for your team. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, he brought in Fleury because he thought he could help when they were splitting time. I guess he was more upset. From what Russo said, he was more upset that he didn't get started in the playoffs after he was starting to play better in the regular season. And that's really what tipped him over. It wasn't just the trade for Fleury himself that set him off the edge. It was the not getting started in the playoffs, which I can understand because he was playing better. I might have said Talbot.
Yeah.
Did I say Talbot? I think I did say Talbot. I could have been wrong though.
Yeah. No, you wanted Talbot to start. You thought Talbot should start.
Yeah. And I thought that was a better move, but I mean, hey, it's whatever the coaches decide.
If I'm a coach and I bring in a goalie when I've got a pretty entrenched goalie, which I think Talbot was pretty much entrenched in Minnesota, and he doesn't come to me and complain about getting a goalie, I'm going to question him, because I'm going to tell you, I want that backup goalie. I want him to want to play every day. I don't want him to be satisfied being a backup. Because,
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head. I mean, it's just so funny how that switch flipped where he was just mediocre throughout. I think it was all through February through March, or maybe it was I think it was January to March to like mid-February, and then the Fleury trade happened, and then all of a sudden he kicked it up a notch because he was going to lose his job, and he ended up losing it in the playoffs, which is just weird. I don't know.
I said when that trade happened, that trade didn't make sense. I said that what were you bringing into the locker room? I brought that up, and I'll still stick by that. You brought toxicity into the locker room. No. If you were going to make that trade, you have got to make 1 billion% sure that your starting goalie understands why you're making that trade. It's just like pitchers in baseball.
And that's what Guerin has been so good about, is doing that. But it just seems like this time Talbot slipped through the cracks. He really just wasn't with it. I mean, Fleury is widely regarded as one of the best players to bring into a locker room. That's why I can't say that he just made a terrible locker room decision, because I don't think it was a terrible locker room decision. I think he did. He knew Fleury. He was with Pittsburgh. He knows how good of a guy he is. He brought him into the locker room. And then at the end of the day, Talbot just was upset about not getting started in the playoffs. I mean, there's not really much you can say. There's just nothing else you can say.
Yeah, but when you talk about there's no room for petty bullshit, how about this? End of the season, Talbot, you're still our guy. Okay, I'm your guy. Great. Just before the trade deadline, we're signing Fleury to a 2-year deal. That's petty bullshit. He stood behind Talbot and then turns around and signs Fleury to a 2-year deal. That's not standing behind Talbot.
He's on a 1-year deal though. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what's so weird about this, is because it's not like he says, I don't think you're good. It's like I think their plan was to try to go 1A, 1B. And just at the end of the day, Talbot is not comfortable going 1A, 1B. He wants to be the starter.
Well, again, that's the petty bullshit, because he obviously he didn't go. I'm sorry. You got to go. Lance, just like you talked about, right? You want that goalie to want more. If you're going to do something like this and you already know your guy is upset, you have got to go to him ahead of time and tell him what's going on and what your plan is. Yep. And if you don't, you're going to get exactly what happened. Oh, there's no room for petty bullshit. He just needs to play. Talbot said, F you.
From what I understand, Guy, that's exactly what Bill Guerin did. and it's just at the end of the day, Talbot didn't like it. I mean,
I don't think he did. I think that comment.
Here's another thing that doesn't get talked about, and it doesn't happen in every instance. Minnesota's behind Talbot. All the players probably liked him. He's their starter. They've been relying on him. Yeah, like Ian said, he had that bad time through the middle of January to the 1st of March, maybe even a little bit further into March. But he started playing really well right before the trade deadline. And these guys are looking, man, we're confident. Talbot's coming right to form. At the end of the year, we're going into the playoffs. And then they bring in Fleury. And I'm not saying every player did it, but I'm sure there were some players that went, okay, why did we do this? I like Andre Fleury, but Talbot's our guy. And I'm not saying that happened for sure, but that can happen.
Oh, no, I think it did. I'm sorry. I'm not on Guerin's side on this one. I think he screwed the pooch on this one.
And I think at the end of the day, I think personally, it's like, I'll say this again. I think they should have started Talbot. I really do. I think they should have started. I think if you start Talbot in the playoffs and wait for him to lose, I feel like this avoids so much of the problems that had happened, because he just didn't get started until the last game where he got blew out, of course. And it's like you can't change goalies like that. You can change
the change should have happened. The change should have happened after game 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the game. Ruby changed
when the Blues tied that up at 2. When the Blues tied that up at 2 is when the change should have happened. And I said it then. That is when that change should have happened. When Bennington comes in and changes how the Blues played, how they played in front of them, right? How Bennington acted as that third defenseman, how he took the forecheck away.
Yep.
Right?
And that's just the thing. And I wonder, I don't know how much of it was Guerin, how much of it was more on Evason, because I feel like if Guerin said, don't start him, he probably would have done it, right? But I think Guerin trusts in his coaching staff, so he kind of let Dean Evason run it, which I feel like at that point you might want to step in. I know hindsight's 20/20 always, right? Sure. But I feel like you should step in and say, no, I feel like you give Talbot the reins once. I mean, I don't know. I think this makes the Wild worse at the end of the day. This makes the Wild worse not having Talbot on the team.
I agree. I think it does.
I picked them third in the Central, Ian, because I don't think they're going to take that much of a fall. I think they're not going to be as good, but I picked them third, and I think I picked Dallas fourth, or vice versa. Dallas was fourth, I think.
I am different. I'm looking at something. I like what Winnipeg did. I really do. I know you said a lot of teams didn't get better. I think Winnipeg actually got better than people think they did.
What?
Yeah, but here's.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, here's the thing about Winnipeg. That's all right, Ian. I tend to talk too much. I'll be brief. That locker room's messed up, and they're trying to fix it, and I don't know if they fixed it fully. Some of them players on the Winnipeg Jets team are a little bit of head cases, and if that wasn't there, I would have picked them a little bit higher. That's what concerns me about the Jets. I think they've got talent coming out the butt, and Connor Hellebuck's a pretty dang good goalie.
And that's the thing. If you can get Hellebuck out of playing 70 games and get him into 60 games or 50 games where he should be, and and they have a backup goalie now. I forget who it is, but they brought a backup in.
Yep.
Now you're balancing that out. That's going to help you down the backside, and that's what they didn't have. You get a good strong start with Hellebuck, you can maintain that now because you got the backside.
Well, they just have such a good top six. It was just crazy to me. I mean, like they have Ehlers, Connor, Scheifele. I know they have Dubois, but there's rumors that he wants to be traded to Habs, right, or something stupid of that sort. Wheeler's still a top six guy.
Yep.
Who's the other forward?
Scheifele. If Scheifele was on any other team, he'd be a superstar in this league.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's just so that's why I think that they should.
First time I played fantasy hockey, I was able to pick him up like in the 3rd round. He kept dropping, and I'm like asking, what's going on? Why? I said, screw it. I picked him up, and he was like one of my best players.
Yeah. Well, and then Kyle Connor is just another one of those guys who is so underrated in this league that just does not get the love. And I don't see it at all, but he's just such a great player. Analytically, he scores goal. He's a goal scorer. It's so crazy how good
Yeah,
It's
no.
just like the Jets
I
should
think
have been so much better. I don't know.
for me, their goaltender situation had and I said this at the beginning of the season. I think I had them in 7th. I didn't see Chicago being as bad as they were,
Yeah.
but I thought I thought that there was something going on. If Scheifele wants out, he's going to wait till his contract's up.
Well, I mean, and how much of it was coach burnout as well? Was it
might have been.
Maurice? Was it
Yeah.
Paul Maurice.
And it's like I feel like that could have had something to do with it as well, where the players are just kind of sick and tired of him, which happens,
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how the Jets perform next season, because I feel like they could, if the Jets move up in the division, it might push a team like the Wild or Dallas out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. I actually think the Central's only getting 3 teams in.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Who's the team in the Pacific that is your surprise team? Is the team that you think is going to make
He's
going to
say the same one I said. He's going to say the same one I said.
Okay, I'm trying to channel my Lance here.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have to actually stare at the teams.
He's going to pick yours, guy.
We'll see.
Ding ding. So you obviously didn't pick teams that were already in the playoffs. So you can take.
You could because some teams went backwards. So
some that you guys did take. So, damn it. Okay. It's gonna be tough because I don't want to say Vegas. Vegas is just.
Vegas is going to be in. Yeah, they're going. Their fans are really going to learn how to lose.
Let them rot in cap purgatory just like the Wild. You get to suffer with it. Man, I want to take the cop out answer and say that Los Angeles is going to get.
Yes. You
Which
read my
Los
mind.
Angeles?
The Kings, man. The Kings.
Yeah, see, he said you didn't say the Kings, did you, Lance?
Yeah, I said the Kings, and then Vancouver was my second.
That's my second too. It was between the. That's funny. Yeah. So
mine is Vancouver. I think Vancouver. Vancouver's going to shock a lot of people.
And so I really liked. I'm sorry to change back to Central, but I really liked. I loved Nashville's draft as well, but I also liked Winnipeg's draft. I feel like Winnipeg did a great. It's so interesting to see. I think the Wild had a good draft too. I mean, the Wild have just been drafting really well the last few years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the prospects, for the Wild, the prospect are looking up. Like there's at least there's hope on the horizon for the Wild, right? But teams like it's teams like Chicago or Dallas who don't have too many prospects. I just feel bad for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do think this, even though I didn't pick Winnipeg to make the playoffs, I do think if there's a team that could shock somebody in the Central, I think it would be the Jets. But like I said, if they get the goaltending from Hellebuck and they can only play him in 50-55 games and let him rest a little bit for the playoffs, they'll go further in the playoffs if they make it. And they've got a beast of a team, and they've got a new coach. And like you said, I think Paul Maurice kind of wore thin on him. And I think they're the team in the Central that could surprise somebody.
Yeah, I that's the one. That's the one I've got. This is my Central right as of now. My Central is St. Louis, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Colorado, Nashville, Dallas.
Oh man, you guys, you're getting bold. I don't know. I cannot drop Colorado down that many spots. I don't know. There's just a block in my brain. I just can't do it. I just can't drop. There's no way I can drop them down past 2. It's just, I don't know I don't think it's possible for them to go down that hard. I don't know.
Stanley Cup hangover.
Gosh.
Stanley Cup hangover. If any team's they got rid of the guy that dented the cup.
That's
right?
Look, listen, guy. I'll tell you what. I love your hot takes here, so I'm all for it. I'm not going to pick them to fall the 4th, but I'm freaking here for it. Just so you know.
Well, I said now that it could change. Something could happen. There could be some other change. But at this moment, after free agency, I still just think that the way they won and the way that they were so focused, they were focused back in the offseason. This offseason, that focus is gone. You can already see it in the way they're playing with the cup and all this stuff. It's gone. It doesn't feel like, and even when the Blues won the cup, it never felt like their focus on next year was gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Washington won the cup, it felt like their focus was gone. When Tampa won the cup, it didn't feel like they had their day and that was it, and then their focus was right back. I just feel like that Colorado was so hyper focused that it's gone, and that's going to be really, really hard to get that back. Just all of a sudden.
Well, I want to talk. First of all, going on Washington. I want to talk about the Washington signing Darcy Kemper, because I feel like that was just a weird signing. But then I think I want to ask you guys what your guys' favorite draft pick for the Blues was in this past this year's draft year, and I'll tell you who mine are.
Okay, Lance, you want to go first? Lance, you still with me? I'm not sure if Lance is still with me. For me, Snuggie. I think Snogard at number 23 was the perfect pick. He was right in that zone. That wasn't a huge reach. He's got NHL bloodlines. There's more positive about him than negative. He's maybe only 1 year away instead of 2 or 3. Yeah. I think that was the pick that made the most sense to me.
Kaskamaki, their second pick.
Second pick.
Yep, Kaskamaki. I
like
think he's going to be good, and I think he could have went higher than they picked him.
Well, it's so funny.
Well, true. Well, you know what? See, but that was the third round pick, right? That was the pick.
That was their third round pick.
That was the pick they got with Husso.
I think so. Let me check.
Yeah, that was the pick they got with Husso.
Well,
that was actually I think that was a better trade than people give credit for, right? I think getting a third round pick. Say again.
It was pick 73 that they got from Detroit.
Yeah. So that was that would have been that one, right? Because we were further down.
Well, I mean, Jimmy Stugarud is a top 10 or maybe even top 5 name in the draft, so I think you guys automatically win there.
With
top
who?
5 name for sure.
Snuggerud.
Oh, Snuggerud.
Yeah, everybody's already calling him Snuggy.
Yeah,
it's good. It's that and who is it? Rutger McGroarty. That just rolls right off the tongue.
So it sounds like a detective.
Yeah, I know, right? Or like a dog detective, like one of those cartoons
where
the dog's a detective. Yeah.
Come here, Rucker.
Yeah. No, and for the Wild, I mean, we had. I feel like I could go with like Danilo Urov, who I feel like it was a steal at 24. But this is put a grain of salt, because this isn't like with a what's the saying, like this player hasn't actually been in the NHL ice yet. The Wild just had their 3-on-3 tournament scrimmage type thing, so it's not really an accurate representation of NHL ice. But one player that really stood out to me, and it's actually on the back end, and something that the Wild got in the 4th round, is Ryan Healy. So he's a right shot defenseman. Some of the stuff, I mean, he just looks like he's an elite skater, and it's funny because I was like, who the heck is that guy? Who's that forward? And he's actually he's just making moves in front of the net, doing crazy moves. It just looks like a great pick for the Wild. But we'll see how he actually develops or how he looks 5-on-5. But at least in 3-on-3, he looked like he's a lethal player. I don't know. But
I like Hunter Haight, I think it is, at 43 they took. He's pretty good.
Really good. Both had great 3-on-3 tournaments for whatever it's worth. But I mean, I like their upside. I really like Hunter Haight's upside. Lots of offense in this game.
Well, Ian and Lance, I love talking to you, but we're coming up on the hour-and-a-half mark, and this is after I had all the issues with my soundboard today. Ian, thanks for coming on again, man. We always appreciate when you're willing to come on and talk hockey with us.
No problem. I love it.
Yep, Lance, you get better for me, bud.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Hey, everybody, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, for Ian and Lance, saying aloha mahalo, and you got to know, excuse me, I'm bleeding blue with you.